Welcome to today's explainer. Look, if you've ever found yourself in a desperate, and I mean literally desperate, tug of war over a sticky tablet, or wondering why your beautifully planned Pinterest craft was totally abandoned after exactly 90 seconds, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're focusing on a wholesome, highly practical approach to a super common modern challenge. We're going to talk about replacing kids' screen time with real-world activities that actually stick. And the best part? We're going to do it without turning your living room into a battleground.
It becomes a design problem, not a moral failure. Okay, let's just dive right into this, because this idea, it's a total game changer. We so often beat ourselves up, or judge our kids when screens take over, right? We think it's a lack of parental willpower, or maybe just stubborn behavior from them. But the truth fundamentally changes everything. Screens win because they are highly efficient attention machines. When we stop viewing this as a personal moral failing and start seeing it as a design problem, well, we suddenly have the power to engineer a much better solution.
The loud shop versus the quiet shop. Let's build on this with a fantastic analogy, drawn right from the bustling old bazaars of Rawalpindi. Picture yourself walking through the market. On one side, you have the loud shop. It's got flashing lights, vibrant colors, loud music, and instant access. On the other side, you've got the quiet shop. It has amazing, high-quality goods, sure, but you have to walk inside, ask questions, and wait a bit to actually see the true value. Screens are the loud shop. They simply ask for much less of a child's attention before giving something incredibly exciting back. Real-world alternatives, on the other hand, are usually the quiet shop.
Why screens win so fast? Let's break down the actual anatomy of that loud shop appeal. Screens offer a powerful, almost magnetic three-part combination. First, immediate reward. Something interesting happens the very second they tap or swipe. Second, low effort. Think about it. There's no setup, no cleanup, no waiting, and absolutely no prior skills required. And third, an unclear stopping point. There's always one more video, one more level, just one more swipe. Children's brains are naturally economical, you know? They are instinctively drawn to things that promise a quick payoff for minimal effort. Which brings us to a really fascinating question. What do children actually seek? If screens are just the delivery mechanism, what is it that kids are looking for when they instinctively reach for that device? It's so easy to assume kids just want screens specifically, but generally they don't. What they actually want is what screens happen to provide so effortlessly. Let's talk about the deeper human needs: interest, control, progress, connection, and relief. Now, what's really interesting here is that these aren't screen needs. Actually, scratch that. They aren't screen needs at all. They are fundamental human needs. Kids are looking for interest. They want something to catch their eye. They crave control and agency, that feeling of, I can do this without help. They want progress, literally feeling themselves get better at something visible. They deeply desire connection, where someone sees them or plays with them. And sometimes they just need relief, a mental break from boredom, big emotions, or just the effort of a long, structured day. Screens just happen to be the absolute fastest delivery system for these core experiences. Let's translate this into real life for a second. When your child says, I want the tablet, what's actually underneath that? Usually they're feeling, I need quick relief. When they whine, I'm bored. They're probably asking for a break from effort. I don't want that. Usually means the payoff of the activity is just too low, or they don't feel like they have any control. And that classic, just let me watch one more video plea, that's an unfinished reward loop in their brain, not just pure stubbornness. Translating these surface sentences completely changes everything. This brings us to the core shift, translating the child's need instead of fighting a habit with force. This is absolutely crucial. We have to stop instantly arguing with the surface behavior. We stop fighting a habit with brute force and start translating the child's underlying need into a different, healthier form. Empathy basically has to take the steering wheel instead of friction. The real design challenge: building alternatives that stick. We're moving directly into the solution phase now. Our goal is no longer about finding an activity that is just morally better or strictly educational. The real challenge is assessing if an offline activity has enough magnetic pull to actually compete with a screen. How do we build alternatives that actually stick in the messy real world? We can actually borrow the logic of screens and apply it to offline activities. A durable alternative usually has 4 ingredients that stick. First up, immediate entry. You have to lower the startup friction so they can jump right in without a hassle. Second, a visible effect. Something has to happen when they take action, creating an instant payoff. Third, room for agency. Let the child choose or shape the activity so they feel a sense of ownership. And finally, a finish line.
A really clear endpoint prevents the activity from feeling like this heavy, endless chore.
Now, you might be sitting there thinking, wait a minute, I offer puzzles, books, and coloring all the time. Why do those genuinely good activities still fail so frequently? It's such a common frustration for so many families. We put in the effort and it just fizzles out.
The answer is almost always found in these common friction points. It starts too slowly. It feels too directed by adults. The payoff is delayed. Expectations are unclear, or there's no obvious stopping point. A child usually doesn't reject drawing because they hate art. They reject it because finding the right markers literally takes too long, or an adult keeps correcting how they color, or the payoff of a finished picture is just too far away. Or perhaps they have no earthly idea when the activity is actually done. They aren't necessarily rejecting the healthy activity itself, they are rejecting the annoying setup, the lack of agency, or the endlessness of it. Think about the difference between steering a bicycle and filling a glass of water. When a child steers a bike, they feel that deeply rewarding sense of agency. I did that. I am in control. When they fill a glass of water, they watch the water level rise. That's the stabilizing feeling of visible progress and cause and effect. Your replacement activities absolutely need these elements to be sticky. If they build a block tower, they see it grow. If they choose the rules of a pretend game, they feel the steering wheel right in their hands. So the crucial concept here is the bridge. The hardest part isn't necessarily the offline activity itself. It's the transition cost. Moving from screen mode to real-world mode requires stopping an immediate reward, reorienting attention, and expending a lot more effort. You can't just tell a child to jump across a massive river. You have to build a structured bridge for them, and you construct that bridge with low startup friction, a quick first reward, a meaningful choice, and a very clear endpoint. Let's look at a sticky Pakistan-based example to ground this in reality. Imagine a weekend afternoon in Rawalpindi. If a parent just demands put the phone away and go read, well, that's a massive leap with zero bridge. But instead, imagine saying, hey, help me make a simple snack. Boom, that's a fast, immediate start. Then you can arrange the plates. That gives a child an active role. And you decide the presentation. That offers agency and a clear finish line. It's a structured invitation, not a vague demand. Not by making the activity perfect, not by winning every argument, but by making the activity feel worth entering. And that brings us to our final takeaway for this explainer. Shifting our families away from screens isn't about overpowering a child's attention. It's about designing an environment where better habits just grow naturally. It's about translating their deeper needs into real-world experiences, not by making the activity absolutely perfect, and certainly not by trying to win every single argument, but by making the healthy alternative feel genuinely worth entering. So the next time your child reaches for a screen, ask yourself, what are they actually looking for right now? And what small bridge can you build to help them find it in the real world?